Don't worry, guys. If you read the title, this is gonna be one of those men. Men aren't men anymore. They're emasculated. We need to make manly again. This isn't one of those. Um, First of all, uh, my fit looks weird because I was working out before my shift at the hospital. Definitely wasn't a good idea. I felt terrible. Um, I'm looking over my shoulder because I woke up. Ugh, woke up my parents. They checked in, made sure I wasn't like a burglar breaking in. Um, so that's where I was looking. Um, but yeah, no, I was working out before my 12-hour shift. So this is at 5 a.m. Definitely, I definitely regretted it later on. It was like probably 2 p.m. and I came back from lunch. It's always after lunch that it just hits you in the face, the exhaustion. But I mean, it was fine. You know, it's better to work out before your 12-hour shift because working out after your 12-hour shift, I mean, I just don't have any motivation. You just want to shower and go to bed. So it's always better to do it before. Okay, so we got to bring back the draft. Not because like, this generation's so lazy, this generation so like effeminate. Um, what happened to all the real men? Blah 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 blah. I mean, it's because when you go to a volunteer only based army, you give up like a lot of control. Like the public, they lose control over what the military does. The United States in Vietnam. I mean, the reason why I mean, it took a few years, but the reason why the United States lost the Vietnam War was because public pressure. You know, the public could pressure the military to end the war. It's because everyday people that are being drafted to make up the military, well, then the public perception is quite important. I mean, the United States just recently was in Afghanistan for over 20 years. I mean, I think it was 20 on the dot, but I mean, 20 years of occupation. I mean, the Vietnam War was like 5 years, and I actually don't know how long the Vietnam War was, but I mean, no way the Vietnam War would have been 20 years. But I mean, it could have been if it's like a volunteer only army. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because Yemen, uh, most Americans can't even put Yemen on the map. But now I'm seeing news stories about how the Houthis in Yemen are, because they're taking over ships. They're attacking ships, and now it's a big deal for the flow of commerce. Now it's a problem. And the United States, the Navy specifically, is really considering becoming directly involved in a battle, war against the Houthis in Yemen. So it's most Americans don't even know where Yemen is. And now we're considering putting, U.S. soldiers' lives on the line in order to fight against them, all because they're attacking cargo ships. You know, now it's important that we fight against the the Houthis. Like no American knows what's going on. No American knows like most Americans don't even know that much about what's going on in Palestine. That's the reason why the Houthis um, are attacking these ships. It's in solidarity with the Palestinians. So I mean, most Americans don't even like know about that. So the fact that we're considering going to war with the Houthis, I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, the United States military takes up so much of the taxpayer dollar already. So, I mean, of course, like, what's the point of spending all that money if you're not going to use it? So, I mean, it's just ridiculous. If we had a, if we had an actual, was it a draft, where everyday people are the ones who have to fight these wars, well, then we would actually have a say over what's happening. But since we have a volunteer-only army, we don't. The public perception just doesn't matter anymore. So, of course, I made a video talking about Palestine, the genocide that's going on over there, U.S. backed, and of course, there's others too. There's Sudan, there's Congo, both in Africa. They don't get as much attention as they should, and those are U.S. backed as well. So, I mean, I should probably be, you know, showing that same amount of attention as I did to Palestine. And that's on me. I haven't been as vocal as I should be about those specifically, but I mean, if the US actually wants to get involved in Yemen, absolutely ridiculous. I can't even believe like what I'm reading on the news. CNN, CBS, all the big news agencies now suddenly they're taking a big interest in what's going on. And it has to do because the ships no longer are going through the Mediterranean. So there's a huge stoppage to the flow of commerce. So now it's important that we, the United States is we. I'm an American. So now it's important that the United States gets involved. All because of this. I mean, you can tell that it's actually what they're doing, the Houthis. I mean, that's actually strong. Strong work. The fact that they're actually able to get get something done. That's an actual threat to the system that exists, attacking those ships. And of course, there's other ways to be involved. Protesting is great, of course, all those things, but I mean, those actions, that's what really made the difference. Now that's what actually is causing global panic. I think the Prime Minister of the UK actually called for a ceasefire, although I'm not sure if it's confirmed. But I mean, it's all because of that. Um, Now, like that, I mean, that's probably like the most useful form of protest. I mean, it's not really protest; it's literal sieges against ships. But I mean, that's been the most effective so far. Form of resistance, I guess, is the best way for me to phrase it. So yeah, I mean, I'm just my mind's blown. The fact that people are actually, I mean, people just they have no critical thinking, you know, and it doesn't matter like what the public perception is anyway. I mean, the majority of Americans are in support of a ceasefire, but you won't see a single politician ever say that, um, like a ceasefire in Palestine. I mean, it's very rare for politicians to call for a ceasefire. So yeah, there was a ceasefire for a little bit, probably like 7 days, and it's still going on now. So we'll see how it goes in the end. Um, so yeah, let's bring back the draft. And I mean, that's my honest to God opinion. You know, if the United States had a draft, we wouldn't get involved in stupid wars. We wouldn't have 20-year occupation in Afghanistan. The politicians would have to listen to the people, but volunteer only. There's pros and cons to it. I mean, that's just my thoughts. What do I know? I'm a guy who squats on YouTube. Okay, see ya.